You can just see the development, you can see the confidence building, and that's the whole point in it, is improving their mental agility and improving their confidence in mental agility as well, and their confidence in themselves.
It improves your mental maths by helping you use these strategies.
Adding up or bridging through 10. Now this is a strategy used for what kind of question? Does anyone know? Devin?
It's helped a lot. It's I used to be dead slow working something out in my head, but now I can do it like that.
It was a case of were they using the skills, were they fluent in their reasoning with the problems, and that was one of the big things. When you see the problems the children are getting and you see them in action now using the number talks, it's ideal because they are using strategies that they may not have used before.
Put your hand up if you feel like number talk strategies help you to tackle a problem.
Even just to walk around and see the ones that you think, oh, I don't know if they'll be able to do that. And, you wouldn't say that, but in your head you think, oh, that's a wee bit tricky. And they do it, and you just think,
it's nice to
that's
be surprised,
because
isn't it?
that is because of that strategy.
Usually I really need to think about the sum before I try and work it out. And then I choose a strategy and I find out if I can use it.
I think number talks are quite important, and I've kind of seen that with the pupils being able to see how they can work sums out, and if they weren't sure how, they can then learn from each other and find a way that will work for them to work out their sums in the future.
Grace?
It's the number after 80 but before 82.
It's the number after 80 but before 82.
It's helped me because I find that it makes it easier, and I find finding out about what number it is and like just talking about even numbers and stuff. I find it helps me.
I've always enjoyed maths, but sometimes it's been a bit tricky, but because we've got these methods now it's way easier, and I love maths. Yeah.
You can see that the children are improving, you can see how they're transferring those skills from number talks into their everyday work. That I think is enough as well, just to show you that number talks are definitely working.
What's 5 times 4? The kids love it. Last week when Mrs Mackenzie was in our class as well, the children had said to her, oh, we get to do number talks every day, sometimes twice a day if we're lucky. So I think that comment speaks volumes. The ethos for us would be to try our best to get children to be comfortable with using strategies, to be comfortable with using their mental ability, adding to their mental ability. Have a look, see which one you would like to try and tackle. To be able to efficiently answer mental maths questions. It's to try and encourage children to talk more about it, talk through how they get to the answer.
We there's multiple questions in the board, and we figure out which one we do if there's multiple strategies for each one, and which is the best one to get to the answer, the most efficient.
It opens up more opportunity of, it's not so much the right or wrong answer, it's more about, well, tell me exactly how you got there. It's about children being able to articulate how they get from A to B, and also sort of opens up the opportunity for children to say to each other, oh, well, actually, they've used that way, I've used this way, which one's more efficient, how can I get there quicker? And that dialogue between the children, between each other and with myself as well, it's really quality conversation, and that's the difference between that and what we've been using previously.
You can share your answers with other people if they're stuck, and vice versa, just in case you are, because you can always help each other and tell each other strategies if you think yours is more efficient than the other person's.
I can see the improvement in children's mental agility. It makes my life easier when it comes to doing things like tables, when it comes to doing anything where I would say, well, you don't actually have to show you're working for this, but I would like you to try and work this out mentally in order to calculate something else. It means that you're not having to slow down that process, so it increases the pace of learning. It means that then, well, they've already learned those skills, apply them to something more challenging, and it means that you're not taking like the baby steps, because they're able to, they're getting it so quickly that they're jumping to then, all right, work out this calculation because I've already worked out that mentally that's what that is. Fantastic, Luca, well done.
We've been practicing our strategies and getting used to using them when we're doing our maths. So when you've got like a question that you're not allowed to write down how you worked it out, then you can just use your mental maths to help you.
Through the process of discussing how you get from this part to the next step, they're then able to self-correct and say, hang on, no, that's not correct, I need to do this. So not only are they able to talk the process out, they can self-correct but also peer-correct as well. So you've got others that will maybe pipe in and say, hang on, maybe if you tried that, then that would maybe work slightly better than that way.
If you get stuck on a question and somebody shows their answer, you'll be able to know next time when you do that type of question how to do it.
It's amazing how sometimes, yes, I may explain things very well, but sometimes the children explain things even better to themselves or to each other. And just hearing from a peer in their class can just make a difference between, oh, I really don't get that, to that aha moment of, actually I understand that now.
So did somebody have the best way to give us that answer?
No.
Why is that? Why not?
Because none of us have wrong answers and they're all good.
That's absolutely right. Everybody had the correct answer, but they all just had a different strategy that you used in order to get there. So it's whatever works best in your brain. So when you see a problem, a maths problem, you'll tackle it perhaps in a different way from your neighbour, and that's all right as long as you understand what strategy you're using and how to get there. As long as it works for you, that's absolutely okay.
I think last year helped a lot because Mrs. Hall found out that we were all struggling a wee bit, well, some of us were, and she helped us to kind of understand it a wee bit more, and I think that helped a lot and stuff. So yeah, I find maths much easier now.
I was quite impressed with how eager all of the children were to respond to it. The teacher said that she was surprised as well when she first introduced it, that the pupils were really happy to be able to share how they worked something out.
I sometimes do partitioning, or sometimes do tens and units, or I sometimes do chimney sums, or I sometimes just work it out.
There was one of the pupils when the sum was 35 plus 95, and they said they just did it, they just added it, but I had to prompt them to say, could you really just add that? Can you really, unless you've memorised it, like maybe like your number bonds up to 10, could you really? And then he said, no, I did the 3 and the 9, and I knew that made a 12, and then he started to explain it a bit more, so it was good to prompt them.
Did anybody do it in a different way? A few of you. David, would you like to tell us how you did it?
I did it in a chimney sum.
You did a chimney sum in your head. Would you like to demonstrate that chimney sum? Thank you so much.
Sometimes, like if we're working in pairs and they say, right, I've worked out the answer and I worked it out like, and then I try and copy how they worked it out. And then if that helps, then I might get the same answer and get it right.
Good, so you stand to the side and talk us through what you just did there.
I put this sum in, and I did.
I'm going to come round and I'm going to have a wee look and see all the different strategies that you're using, and then we're going to talk about them together at the board. Sound okay?
Yeah.
Right, so you've got 3, you can start in any order, you can pick the one that you fancy the best and try and work your way through those 3. I'm going to come round, alright? You all try and create that type of ethos and environment where it's sort of risk-free, everyone's allowed to make a mistake, and I think the number talks and the strategies and the methodology behind it all just sort of reinforces all that. And I've myself said to the kids that a lot of these strategies I wasn't taught at school, so a lot of them I'm learning with them, and it's like a sort of collaborative moment there in the classroom.
We've been making it more fun, like thinking about computer games and making the number talks seem like computer games. It helps me memorise the strategies, and it helps me get more answers right because I can learn from my mistake.
Maths was really boring. None of us were really paying very much attention. Because Miss Smith made it really fun, we pay loads more attention, and that's how we're getting way better at it, because we're learning all the different things.
As a teacher, you want them to access all the tools available to them, and sometimes you
as much as you might try, can struggle to find the right one for each individual child. And I've personally found with Number Talks as a whole, we do it as a whole class, and it's providing every single child with all of those tools.
The toolkit helps us because it has all the different number strategies.
We have lots of methods, and the teacher will remind us about them if we say that we're stuck. And she'll give us a list of the ones we could use for that sum, and we get to pick one.
So, who would like to offer their answer? How did they get the answer for this duration question? Caleb.
We've been told that we have to jump the smallest jumps we can.
A lot of it is just discussion and talking about whatever's in your head and get it out and working your way through. And sometimes it's really interesting because kids will come up with ways of doing things and you think, wow, that is super complicated, but they get the right answer and it's just how their individual mind is working.
Because it has a 0 at the end, it just makes me feel a bit more confident with it.
Zeros make you feel safe, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got your wee 8 minutes. We're still quite far from the finish line.
Yeah.
How are we going to get there? Do more blocks?
50 times 2.
Yeah.
It makes the children who perhaps find number tricky or more challenging, who in the past might have been quite reluctant to be involved. I just can't do that. Now that they know they've got the support from their peers and they've got that chance just to give it a go, and it doesn't have to be right. I've noticed a big change in their enthusiasm and how keen they are to
And I
be
suppose
involved.
the focus being on the kind of process you go
Yeah.
through to reach an answer, being
Rather
more important than do you just get the right answer. You know, that certainly helps as well, doesn't it?
I think even they can just get that, even if they can get part of the strategy, and they just seen their faces light up when they've got even the last bit, if they can just help somebody, so they feel they've been part of that even if they've not been able to do the whole process, which is great.
Ready?
Yeah.
Go.
I think with Number Talks it allows them just to try out different ways of finding a solution, and it's kind of taken away that fear, because some children, no matter how many times you say it's okay if you get it wrong, they were still quite reluctant, but they know with Number Talks they've got that opportunity to get it wrong and it's okay.
They're talking about number, they're using number, they're getting different types of problems to solve. The children are all involved and we have been using it along with other maths. I mean, it's a part of the day, but you get big results for a small amount of time. And that's ideal as well, because it's not as if you have to take a whole hour to talk about something.
Okay, time's up. All right, let's see.
The actual material that you're reading, in order to follow it, to carry it out, is very, very straightforward, very, very simplified. And it's just a matter of maybe getting advice from other colleagues as how they go about it. How do they adapt it to make it different for their class? How do they adapt it so that it's not every day's the same?
Because we're all doing it together and we sit at collegiate time and talk about it and moderate together, we're sharing what we're doing so that we're doing it as a team, as a staff across the school. Everyone is doing it and we're helping each other as we take it forward.
The methodology behind it makes sense to me, and because it makes sense to me, I think that shows when I'm trying to portray that to the children, I get it, and because I get it, they're getting it, I think.
Even things like I was discussing with the kids in the class, I'm in the middle of doing up my house, which is true, and I need to work out the area that I would need for the flooring, I need to work out the perimeter for that reason. You're constantly using numbers and constantly mentally calculating out in the real world as well, so I'm currently getting them to help me with designing my house.
I feel really happy and excited because I don't know whether I'm going to get it right or wrong, and then when I find out that it's right, I get really excited and happy.
We now see children who are so confident in talking about number and solving problems, which is ideal. It's not just about paper and pencils.
I think I'll probably use it quite a lot as lesson starters, just to get the children thinking, so that then if they're doing textbook work or anything that I choose to do after it, it means they've already been working, they've already thought, right, that's the strategy that I can use if I come across these numbers.
If someone wasn't sure whether or not to go ahead or whether or not to implement it, if you saw someone with your class doing the Number Talks and you saw those kids, I was just blown away by the children. I thought they wouldn't say anything. They did, and I thought, well, how can you go wrong with that? it's great.
Yeah.